Hello everybody, I'm Warren and I'm going to give you 5 tips and things to keep in mind while playing Chivalry 2. I guarantee if you implement these things into your gameplay, you will see improvement and you will start to be at the top of the leaderboards in your games and win those epic 1v1s. Let's go. Tip number 1, position and movement. Pay attention to your position. Where are you? Keep in mind the area around you and where the enemy is. Does he have allies that can interrupt your fight? Do you have teammates behind you to keep from enemies from flanking you? These are all things you need to keep in mind while you're on the battlefield. Before just rushing into the first fight you see, look and analyze what is in front of you. Do you see one of your teammates already in a fight and about to lose? Go and help him out and get an easy kill in the process. Look for enemies that aren't looking at you or have their back turned. In short, look at the situation, analyze, and see what is going to be the safest option that is going to give you the most amount of kills or help you and your team win the game. Number 1 rule of position is keeping the enemy in front of you. I know this sounds self-explanatory, but you don't know how many times I have or seen people rush too far into enemy lines just for someone to come up behind them and get a quick and easy kill by slashing their head off. You want to always try and deter enemies from going around you, especially if you're in a 1vx situation. Because if you can't see the enemy, you can't hit them or react to anything they're doing. Next, try and use teammates around you to stop people from coming up behind you. Or can you use the terrain to stop side advances? Don't leave yourself open to getting flanked. It is the easiest way to die for free. Next, let's talk about movement. You wouldn't believe how many times I have seen people completely miss their hits just by moving to the right or left of them. Moving around your enemies while you are in a fight gives you the chance that they will miss an attack on you, but even better, that the enemy has a harder time seeing what you are doing if you are in their side view. You want to always keep moving while in a fight. It just makes you a harder target to hit and a harder foe to see. Tip number 2. Timing. First, what is timing? I would describe timing simply as who is going to have the advantage to hit first. Just say, for example, if you have just parried your opponent's attack, you will be able to attack before your opponent does. That sounds simple enough, but you need to keep in mind a few more factors. Who has the faster weapon, you or your opponent? The other factor to keep in mind is if you and your opponent are swinging at the same time, who is dragging the most? Dragging is moving your mouse along with your attack to swing your weapon into the opponent faster. You can also use this feature to pull your mouse into the opposite direction of your swing to slow your attack down to disrupt your opponent's rhythm. We will talk about more ways to reset timing advantages in a later tip, so don't miss it. Timing isn't something you will pick up easily, but knowing how it works is crucial to know who is going to have the advantage and will help you make decisions in your fights. But you will be able to master this skill over time. It just takes a little bit of practice and a lot of deaths. Also, if you found these tips useful, leave a like down below and leave a comment which tip helped you out the most, or maybe something you'd like me to cover in another video. And if you want to see more of this content or just help the channel out, you can subscribe as well. All this stuff helps out a lot and I thank you. Now, let's get back to those tips. Tip number 3, objectives. Work with your team. Whether that is defending a point or stealing gold, helping your team with objectives simply will get you to win more games. I know you want to be a little murder goblin and take the first fight you see, but going and fighting around objectives and helping your team is way more fun and rewarding than just taking random fights. Trust me, if you start doing the objectives, the enemies will come to you. Tip number 4, kicking and jabs. Kicking and jabs are going to help you get timing advantages over your opponent. You want to be unpredictable in your attacks. If you just parry riposte on repeat, you will not win fights against good players. You want to add kicks and jabs into your arsenal of moves. You should use kicks to interrupt a player's block and get a free hit. A kick cannot be blocked but will not interrupt the opponent if he is already attacking. A jab is the opposite. You want to jab when a player is attacking to interrupt their attack. A jab will not interrupt a block. These are very useful tools to add and to remember to use during fights to help you get the upper hand. And a little tip, if you do see someone that is a parry riposte repeat king, give him one kick after his parried hit and he will probably lose his mind. Tip number 5, Know which moves to use. Listen, if you're fighting around a bunch of your teammates and you use a heavy swing, yeah, you took that one enemy's head off, but you also dismembered 4 of your teammates. So, if you're around a bunch of people in the same color as you, try and use thrust and overheads to not hit them. I'm sure they would greatly appreciate it. But, if you find yourself in a big group of enemies, parry an attack and riposte and swing around like a Beyblade. Take out as many as you can before you fall, my brother. And that is my 5 tips to help you out in Chivalry 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.